You're smart. Everyone's told you that your whole life. Teachers, parents, test scores, all confirmed it. So, why are you watching people who barely graduated crush it while you're still stuck in the planning phase? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your intelligence isn't your superpower. It's the very thing that's keeping you paralyzed. And I'm about to show you the psychological trap that's been hiding in plain sight this entire time, plus the counterintuitive move that actually breaks you free. Point 1. The intelligence prison. Let me paint you a picture. Right now, someone less intelligent than you just launched their business. It's imperfect. The branding is mediocre, but it's real. And it's making money. Meanwhile, you're still researching, still optimizing, still waiting for the perfect moment. Your intelligence has become a prison, and here's the twisted part. You built it yourself. With every brilliant analysis that delays action, with every perfect plan that never sees execution, with every clever rationalization for why now isn't the right time. You can solve complex problems in your head, but you've been thinking about starting that simple project for 3 years. This is the intelligence paradox. Your ability to see every angle, every risk, every possible outcome, the very thing you were praised for, has turned into your greatest liability. You're not stuck because you can't figure things out. You're stuck because you can figure out too much. And that leads us to the real trap. Point 2. The overthinking spiral. Here's how normal people operate. They decide to start a blog, pick a platform in 5 minutes, and publish their first post by lunch. It's clunky, it's imperfect, but it exists. You research 15 different platforms, read 50 reviews, optimize for SEO, debate color psychology for your header, and 6 months later, you still haven't written a single word. Overthinking feels productive. Because your brain is genuinely working hard, you're experiencing mental effort. But here's what's actually happening. You're revving an engine in neutral. Lots of noise, lots of heat, zero movement. The cruel irony? You know this. You're self-aware enough to recognize the pattern. But self-awareness without action is just intellectual masturbation. Every hour you spend researching the best approach is an hour someone else is spending getting real feedback from real failure. They're learning what actually works. You're learning what theoretically should work. But here's what makes this even worse, and this is where most people won't admit the real reason they're stuck. Point 3. The perfection prison. The most expensive word in the English language is perfect. This single word has killed more dreams than failure ever could. Right now, you probably have projects sitting at 90% complete, still in the drafts folder, never shipped. Not because they're not good enough, because you're terrified they'll reveal something about you. Let's be honest about what perfectionism actually is. It's not high standards. It's fear, wearing a productivity mask. You're scared that if your work isn't flawless, people will discover the truth, that you're not as smart as they think you are, that maybe you've been coasting on potential your whole life, that your intelligence was just promise, not proof. So you hide behind just a little more polish. You tell yourself you're being thorough, strategic, professional, but really, you're protecting your identity. Here's the brutal math. While you're perfecting, someone else is profiting. While you're polishing, they're pivoting based on real market data. Done. Beats perfect. Every single time. But even if you accept this, even if you try to just start, there's a deeper problem most people never address. Point 4. The IQ ceiling. Here's a fact that will either liberate you or devastate you. After an IQ of 120, intelligence only predicts 23% of success. Read that again. 23%. That means 77% of your success has absolutely nothing to do with how smart you are. Not your test scores, not your ability to see patterns, not your analytical horsepower. Want to know what matters more? Emotional intelligence predicts 58% of success, more than double what IQ does. You're brilliant at solving abstract problems, but you're terrible at the messy human stuff. Having difficult conversations, asking for help, handling rejection, reading the room, managing your own emotional spirals when things don't go as planned. You can solve complex equations, but can't debug a single tough conversation. You can architect elegant systems, but fall apart when someone criticizes your work. Intelligence gave you a head start in the classroom, but real life isn't a test you can study for. It's a game you have to play, awkwardly, imperfectly, publicly. And this creates something psychologists call the curse of knowledge. Point 5. The knowledge curse. The more you know, the harder it becomes to do anything. Your intelligence takes simple decisions and fractures them into 1,000 variables. Should I use WordPress or Webflow? What about Squarespace? What if I need to migrate later? What's the SEO implication? The loading speed? The scalability? Meanwhile, someone ignorant just picked one and started building. Ignorance takes action. Intelligence takes notes. Here's the success formula that most smart people never internalize. Performance equals talent times effort squared. Effort counts twice, not once, twice. Smart people coast on talent. You got A's without studying. You solved problems faster than your peers. So you never developed the effort muscle. You never learned how to persist through sustained discomfort. When things got hard, you switched to something where you could be effortlessly good again. You optimized for feeling smart instead of getting better. But consistent, average effort will always destroy occasional bursts of genius. Always. The person who writes 500 mediocre words every single day will lap you the person who writes 5,000 brilliant words once a year. So what's the actual solution? Because if I just told you stop overthinking, you'd roll your eyes. You've heard that before. It doesn't work. Point 6. The solution. Here's what actually works. You need to start badly, on purpose, not try your best and accept imperfection. Not ship when you're 80% ready. I mean, deliberately start with something you know is bad. Write the worst first draft. Build the ugliest prototype. Record the most awkward video. Give yourself full permission to suck. Why? Because your brain is wired to crave complexity. Complexity feels smart. It feels like you're using your intelligence, but complexity is exactly what's killing your execution. Simple always beats complex when it comes to actually doing things. Here's your 30-day transformation. Week 1. Start before you're ready. Pick one thing you've been overthinking. Don't research it more. Don't plan it better. Just start. Badly. Set a timer for 30 minutes and produce something, anything, by the time it goes off. Week 2. Constraint is your friend. Your enemy isn't lack of resources, it's infinite options. Artificially constrain yourself. One platform, one approach, 1 hour. Constraints force action. Week 3. Build your exposure ladder. You're scared of judgment because you're out of practice with failure. Start small. Share something low stakes. Let yourself experience that the world doesn't end when you're imperfect. Then, gradually increase the stakes. Week 4. Create a bias toward action system. Design your environment so taking action is easier than overthinking. Want to write? Open a blank doc every morning and write one sentence before you check anything else. Your brain will want to complicate it. Resist. Simple systems scale. Complex ones collapse. The people winning aren't smarter than you. They're just willing to suck at something long enough to get good at it. They've made peace with being an amateur, with making mistakes publicly, with looking foolish temporarily. You're still trying to skip that phase. You can't. So here's what you're walking away with. Your intelligence is only a prison if you let it be. The exit isn't working smarter, it's working uglier, messier, more imperfectly. Imagine what the next 3 months look like if you actually execute on just one thing you've been overthinking. Not perfectly, just consistently. You'll have real feedback, real progress, real proof that you're not just smart, you're capable. The next roadblock you're going to hit, you'll start. Feel the discomfort of being bad at something, and your brain will try to convince you to go back to learning more first. That is the moment everything hinges on. If you want the exact framework for pushing through that resistance, the psychological tools that actually rewire your relationship with action, I've broken it down step by step in the video showing up on your screen right now. That's your next move. Done beats perfect. Action beats intention. And starting badly beats staying stuck. Now go build something messy.